Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Owen, and I'm the Associate Dean of Students here at Wofford College. It is my pleasure to coordinate new student orientation for the class of 2028, along with the terrific staff in campus life and student development and our campus partners. As we get closer to orientation in August, there are several important checklist items that we ask students to complete before their arrival here on campus. These are all located in the mywofford.edu portal on the Wofford website under the FYI tab. We have found that it's helpful to gather via video conference several times throughout the summer through this Terrier Talk series to walk through how to complete certain tasks and answer questions from our new students and families. At this time, I'd like to introduce our presenters for today, Cynthia Moberly, the Assistant Director of Housing Operations, and Kendra Ivins, Director of Residence Life. Today's Terrier Talk topic covers applying for housing and living on campus here at Wofford. Please note that we will post a recording of today's presentation to the Wofford New Student website for you to refer back to. Also, we're happy to answer any questions at the end of the talk via the chat, so feel free to post those as we go. Kendra and Cynthia, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out today to learn a little bit about what it's like to live on campus. Living on campus is an important part of your experience here at Wofford. Move-in day will be August 24th between 8 and 11 a.m. Check out the new student housing information tab on your My Wofford account. That will take you to the housing portal. The housing portal will be used during the entirety of your time here on campus. Every year that you want to live on campus, you will be filling out your application through the housing portal. Each hall will have a resident assistant. So when you come and live on campus, you will have an RA, which will be an upperclassman student staff member who is there to assist you throughout your experience, answer questions, and help you become accustomed to life on campus. Getting to know your RA can be a really important part of joining the Wofford community and help you get accustomed to campus very quickly. Living on campus your first year, there are 3 different options of housing. So Green Hall, Marsh Hall, and Richardson Hall are all our first year housing options. These are all in the same area of campus. And so when you go to select housing, which we'll talk about today, you will be able to select from any availability in those buildings based on your selection time. I'm going to hand it over to Cynthia, who's our Assistant Director of Housing Operations, who will talk a little bit about how you apply, navigating the housing portal, creating a roommate group, and selecting your space.
Okay, as Kendra said, I'm going to talk you through some of the nitty-gritty of actually applying for housing and the rest of the process to start preparing for the fall. So when you're looking at applying, we'll talk through the actual application. We'll talk through the simple housing profile questionnaire. We'll talk through how you finalize your application, along with that important deadline of June 28th to finish and submit your application, as well as after June 28th, participating in room selection. So once you have navigated to your housing portal, you can select apply for housing or apply now. There will be like suggested tasks for you on that homepage, and you could just select apply for housing, and then you'll see this list of application forms. You should only see one option for actually applying to live on campus in the fall. So you just click that apply now button, and then that will take you through to the second step, which is completing the housing profile questions. This is just your basic information about yourself, and then you can, I think you can upload a picture there. So you can upload a picture, just putting your first and last name and that basic demographic information. You don't fill out a questionnaire yet, but once you get through to the next step of confirming that application, you want to make sure you have selected all 3 of the little checks there. You want to make sure you select all those before you click submit. One common issue that we see is when folks get to the screen, they don't officially hit submit, and so then you're kind of in limbo and you don't have that finalized application. So make sure you do that, and if you have any issues with the screen, then let us know and we can help you through that. But the next thing we're going to talk through is once you've actually submitted your application prior to that deadline, you're going to want to find a roommate. So unless you already have someone that you know you're coming into Wofford with, you want to live with them, you're probably going to want to fill out a questionnaire and try to find a roommate through our portal. We have a roomies profile that it lives in the housing portal. And then we'll talk about any additional help that we can provide you with finding a roommate, but we want you to have the option to search for someone who you would get along with and have similar traits as them. So you'll actually go through and select roommate profile. So on that screen on the left-hand side, after you've filled out your application and submitted that, there is a button that you can hit that's called My Roommate Profile. Once you click on that, that will take you to a screen that this is broken up, but when you scroll down through it, this is what it looks like. You select a picture. It can be whatever picture that shows off your personality, answer these questions, basically fill out a bio about yourself. You can put any of your social media handles there. And you can select what information you want to be shared. So you can include first and last name, gender, and all of the other application fields like what time you like to go to bed. The most important part of this is that you actually select turn on my profile in the top left. If you don't select that, then no one will be able to search for you. So we definitely want to be able to find you in the system. Make sure that you select that if you're doing this. And then if you want to actually search for someone, say you've met someone, on Instagram or in a GroupMe or something, and you know who you want to look for, you can actually search for them by name. So you can go in and search through basically a directory of other people who have submitted roommate profiles. You can also just kind of scroll down through people who have submitted them. So there's a few ways to search for people, but you can find someone who, if you've heard of someone that you might want to be friends with, to look at their roommate profile. And then once you do that, you can actually, those buttons under this example of Liza Miller, you can select, go ahead and add them to your roommate group. You can send them a contact request to see if they would want to chat, or you can always block someone if you know that you don't want to room with them or whatever. But those are your options for looking through that roommate search feature that we offer in our housing profile. If you're still feeling like you're not sure, we get to that June 28th deadline, you haven't found someone you want to live with, this year we have decided to offer a potential option for us to assist you with finding a roommate. So there's two potential selections. If you do feel like you're interested in matching with someone, you are also welcome to not be matched with the roommate. But if you want to get matched with someone, we can do that manually for you. But that will be based on your roommate profile that you fill out with that questionnaire. And then if you would prefer, we are happy to provide you with a list of contacts for other people who consent to having their information shared by us. Again, you can do that pretty much in that roomies piece of the housing portal, but if you're still looking for someone when it comes to June 28th on that deadline, then we will be happy to assist you in either of those ways if you're wanting to do that. And let us know if you have any questions, but this is a form that's in your housing portal. It's separate from applications. You'll have a few different forms that you could complete, but this one is called that roommate match request. And this is going to close that week after the application closes. So you'll have a week after if something didn't work out by the deadline for you to fill this out. But let us know if you have any additional questions about that. Once you feel like you have your roommate group ready to go, you have found someone maybe in that roomies section of the portal, or you're coming in with someone from high school that you want to live with, you are going to want to go in and actually select your roommate group. You're going to create a new roommate group and invite everyone or invite your roommate to join that roommate group. And then make sure that you've actually matched by that deadline of June 28th. So we'll look at kind of how to do that here. So in this example for Denise, you've selected on the left-hand side roommate groups, and this is the screen you see once you've selected, this is your profile. So you've selected roommate groups, you actually go in and click create new roommate group. And then under that, this is exactly what pops up when you click create new roommate group. So you give your roommate group a title, which we can see, just an important thing to note. And once you've actually matched with someone, you're going to see that little green check mark. So you see Liza has matched with you if you're looking at the screen. And if you are not matched, you're not going to see that little green check mark. So when you go to add someone, you put in their Wofford email address under that, in that little box. Thank you. And that sends them a notification that, hey, Liza has added you to their roommate group. And then once you go in and actually accept it, you'll see that green check mark. So that's what matters. Once you've actually selected a roommate group, you can see Liza has started this, but Brooke has not accepted it. So Liza went in and created the roommate group, and she maybe just put in Brooke's name and email and just sent it to Brooke, and Brooke hasn't gotten it yet. She hasn't opened it and accepted it yet. So this is what it'll look like if you're Liza and you started the group, but your roommate has not accepted it. They definitely want to make sure they go in and accept it by the 28th. That is an important deadline to remember as we kind of get to that time. We're already in June. So then once you've actually matched with your roommate, or if you decide to go into the process without a roommate, that's totally fine. This is the process after that of actual room selection. So we'll walk you through this, but you go into the portal, you select housing overview, you can look through rooms before you actually go into select. You'll select a room at your assigned time, and then whoever in your roommate group has the earliest time can actually pull in your group to place them. And this happens July 16th through 18th. So we have a couple of weeks in between when the application closes and time for us to make sure everybody's application is finalized, and we can look at our data and we can get everything together to send out time slots and everything set up for you. And then we'll be contacting you in that meantime with additional information you need before July 16th. So once you go in, you'll select housing overview. That's again over on that left-hand side in the portal. Once you select under housing overview, you'll be able to preview and favorite rooms. So you can see that for this person, it's generally about 2 weeks ahead of your time that you're going to select that you're able to search for rooms. So this is kind of a search feature where you can look through all of the rooms that you would be available or eligible to select if they're still available when your time comes. So what you want to do if you really want to live, on the second floor of Marsh, you can go in here and select rooms that are on the second floor of Marsh that you're really hoping are going to be available when you go in at your time slot. So you can star them. You see where the cursor is kind of over that little star. It's not selected, but when it's selected, it'll show as a gold star. Kind of in the top right here, you can also see a countdown. So this person, for this example, it's counting down to their time slot, which is in 2 minutes and 44 seconds. So it literally counts down to the second that you will be able to actually select the room. So in selecting a room, you go in at your assigned time. You probably want to be prepared at least a few minutes beforehand, just so you're ready to go at your time to, get the best shot at getting the room you want. You'll be able to go in and you can continue searching at this time. It's not like you can only select the things that you favorited. But you can see on the bottom left here where there's physical beds is what it looks like. So it's kind of funny, but when you hover over a bed, you'll be able to actually select the bed. And then on the right-hand side, this is what pops up. It says room 113 and has some detailed information about it. And then you'll want to hit choose this bed. And when you hit choose this bed, this is what pops up. So as we've talked about, you probably have a roommate that you're matched with. Here in this example, she does. So they've selected room 101. And in step 2, it says decide if you are bringing your roommate group in with you. So if you have a roommate that you're matched to, you're definitely gonna want to click yes, because that will pull your roommate into your room with you, so they don't have to also then manually go in at their time and try to select a room with you. It just pulls them in automatically. That's an important step if you have a roommate that you are rooming with that you want to select a room with. So make sure to hit that and then hit assign me now. And that will take you to basically a confirmation page, and you will be all set and you'll have your housing selected for the fall. So One last note just before we kind of move on to just preparing for the fall itself. Transfer students have a slightly different process, but once we finalize our numbers with our transfer students, we're going to actually identify a transfer hall on campus. So therefore, you'll only have the option to select from the rooms in that actual hall if you're a transfer student. So that is just something to note for those folks. And I'm going to pass it back over to Kendra.
All right, so that is all the process of getting ready to be on campus, you're getting all of the logistics of picking a room ready. So we want to get you ready for the rest of life while you live here on campus. So if I know this is a little early, but as you're starting to purchase things for your room, we want to just remind you of some things not to forget and some things that you can leave at home. So here on the left are some of the things that we that are often maybe forgotten about, or some things that can be really important, things like laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, surge protectors. A quick note is that we do allow surge protectors, so that has that kind of flip switch that will turn off if there's a surge of power, but not extension cords. So if you're purchasing one of those things for your room, make sure you get a surge protector, not an extension cord. Command strips can be really, really helpful for putting things up on your walls. Drawer organizers, a fan. Some students, maybe want their space a little bit of a different temperature than their roommate. So a fan can be really helpful. Bathroom caddy, laundry basket, personal hygiene products, shower shoes, a robe. Students really enjoy having a robe, towels, bedding, and oftentimes extra bedding so that you can rotate out your bedding. Reusable water bottle. We have a lot of water refill stations that students love using, and decorations to make your space home. Some things to leave at home. Candles. They smell great. We love them, but they aren't allowed in the rooms. Like I already mentioned, extension cords, pets, anything outside of a fish in a 10-gallon tank or less is not allowed on campus. So make sure to leave your favorite pet at home. Lofting kits. So you can have some bed risers, but lofting kits would not be allowed. Lava lamps or anything that has a heated coil, toasters and grills. Having your own Wi-Fi router. This actually disrupts the rest of the Wi-Fi. So it gives you really great Wi-Fi, but ruins everyone else's, and then we'd have to remove that. So make sure not to bring your own Wi-Fi router, TV mounting kits, or anything that you're hanging from the ceilings or from the lights. There's a more comprehensive list on our website that we have a QR code for here, but this is just some things to remember as you're starting to pack and buy things for your room. Get to know your roommate. So once you've picked your roommate and you're getting ready to show up, start talking about things now that are important for setting expectations, setting boundaries, things that can come up later on. It's much better to go ahead and have an understanding now of what you expect from each other. If you have any allergies, that can be really helpful to share with your roommate so that they know that going in. If you have what your sleep cycle is, and be honest about that. A lot of times parents and family want to fill out these questionnaires and answer these questions. You as a student need to be really honest about whether you're really an early riser or whether you just wake up early because your school is scheduled early. If it wasn't, would you be an early riser? Think about that as you talk through these conversations. What's your expectation around sound, around when lights go out? How messy or dirty are you if you're on your own, right? If no one's telling you what to do, how messy or dirty are you? And what's your expectation socially? Do you want to be best friends with your roommate? Do you want to just live together? Are you okay with having your friends over in your room? Start thinking about those things and talking about those now. It helps to avoid surprises down the road, and make sure that you all are on the same page. Protect your belongings. You are going to bring a lot of your favorite things here to campus, and we love that is what happens. But we want to make sure to prepare you with information. So you are renting a space in the same way as a similar way than as if you were renting an apartment, as an adult. So think about the fact that you will bring some of your favorite things. If there's anything that you want to insure, there are lots of ways that you can insure those. Whether it's through your homeowner's insurance or from other renters insurance. But we do have partnership with GradGuard, who provides renters insurance specifically for students living on campus. So they have some pretty affordable rates, and we have a QR code here to scan if you want to look at what a policy would look like for you. It doesn't benefit us at all. It's not anything that we're trying to push because it's a benefit to us, but we do think that it's really great for students to know how their items are covered, and to be aware of that and start having those conversations. Start to learn basic skills. There is a chance that you may not have had to practice some of these skills before you come to college. So parents and families, as you are helping prepare your student, this is the biggest thing that I would say can be a make or break for them as they start their life as an adult. Helping them to learn how to do laundry, separating their whites and the colors, how to use detergent, what kind of detergent to use, how to fold their laundry, how regularly to wash their sheets. These are all things that are really, really important that might come as intuitive to us as adults, but for our 18-year-old students who are leaving for the first time, this can be a lot to learn as they're also learning how to navigate college. So start having those conversations, practicing those skills now. Dishes, cleaning up after yourself. No one's going to do it anymore. If you have someone in your life who's doing it for you now, make sure that you're practicing that. And the biggest one I would say is learning how to regulate and get yourself up on time. If you are currently you struggle with getting up on time, start practicing different techniques. There are definitely some resources to help you get up if you have difficulty getting up. As you come to college, you're going to have classes at different times. Some are going to be 8 a.m. Some days it's going to be 10 a.m. So it's harder to get your body used to waking up naturally. So making sure that you have the resources before you get to next year and you're struggling to get to class on time is going to be really, really, really beneficial. Start practicing that this summer so that next year it hopefully is easy for you. But applying for housing and getting ready to live on campus is just one of the many, many things you should be doing this month so that you are best prepared to be a student here at Wofford. This is just a snippet from the checklist that you all have on your My Wofford account. 2 of the deadlines you can see have already passed. Those are things you should already be doing or have done. That's an advising questionnaire and the modern language placement test. If you have not done that, do that today. That's really, really important so that we can get things ready for you for when you arrive. The next deadline is the 15th, which is fast approaching, and we have 4 things at that time. And then you'll see the housing form and roommate grouping due there at the end of the month. So make sure you are keeping up with that checklist and that you don't get to August and you're behind on a lot of those deadlines. One thing to note is that starting tomorrow, you should have access to the student tab of your My Wofford, which will help you in navigating your student life. That's going to be most of what you use once you are here. But more importantly, you will have access to your Wofford student email, and that will be the primary email that we will use from now on. So if you want to hear from us and from anyone at Wofford, everyone will be emailing your Wofford email. Make sure you're checking that starting tomorrow so that you don't miss any important information and log into your Wofford email in August and then realize you've missed a lot of things. So make sure starting tomorrow you transition to that. And then we have questions. Let's see. How many rooms can you favorite? I don't get it, your favorite. Yeah, so that's a great question. So you can favorite as many rooms as you want, and it will show as many rooms as you've favorited. You'll be able to scroll down. If you do, I'll kind of jump back to that slide real quick to kind of show you what this looks like. So you'll see right here, it says only show favorites. So if we have that clicked, it will show me every room I favorited, and you could favorite every room if you wanted to. But if let's say every room that you favorited gets selected, then you just switch to search for rooms and you can pick, from the search for rooms what you're wanting to look at. If you really want to live on green 3rd floor, you just click green 3rd floor, and it would show you every room that's available on that floor that you could select. It will only show you rooms that are available to you. So for our freshman areas, our rooms are gendered. So you wouldn't be able to select a room that doesn't meet the gender that's assigned in a res life. It wouldn't show you that room is available at all. So that's just something to know as you go into selection. But it will show you every room that you're favorited. If those are gone, then when you click only show favorited rooms, nothing would show up here. So you just switch to search for rooms. 10-gallon hermit crab. So it would only be fish. Yeah, we only able to do fish. That way, if the hermit crab got loose and went wild, we weren't looking for a hermit crab in the hall. Yeah, it is only fish. Are there any other questions that we can answer for you?
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions about the housing portal, feel free to email reslife@wofford.edu with any of those questions. If you're watching this after our live recording, feel free to do that. We're happy to jump on and answer any of those. We do have several topics that are coming up throughout the next couple of months. And so our next Wofford Terrier Talk is next Thursday at 4:00 p.m. And we will talk about academic advising, which is a great introduction as you start to go into registration process for your classes in the fall. So we highly encourage that you jump on next Thursday at 4:00 to chat with some of our folks from academic advising and some of our faculty that work on that throughout the summer.
We have a couple questions that we have responded to. We're going to just notice. Do you have a answer to this one?
There is not a Wofford 2028 Facebook page to speak with other new students at Wofford. We do have an orientation staff Instagram where you can connect with upperclassmen who are orientation staff members who can answer any questions that you have. Also, that's Wofford O staff on Instagram. And then we also have WOCO Get Involved, which is an Instagram handle. We're happy to have you direct message that with any questions about orientation and your first year experience there as well. But we do not have a Facebook group.
There's a couple more. Are vacuums accessible? They're not vacuums that are provided. So if that's something that you or your student would like to have, that is something that you'll need to bring yourself. And you are allowed to eat in your rooms. That's again why we talk about, it's really important to share if you have any allergies or your roommate has any allergies, if you're eating there in the room. But yes, you are absolutely able to eat in the rooms.
There are several students who like to bring their own mini fridge or, and so that's an option as well. We do have lots of dining options that are open at lots of hours on campus. And so some students don't find that necessary, but there are several that will bring that so that they can have access to, especially if you have dietary restrictions or something like that, that you might want to have more regular access to that.
There's a good question about whether all the rooms in the buildings cost the same. One of the really wonderful things about Wofford is that it is the same price every year when it comes to housing. It doesn't change based on where which space you live. So that does not change from year to year. So and then I know there was a question about the date for room selection. That's going to be July 16th through the 18th. That's also, if you have any questions about upcoming dates or anything like that, we also have that on our Wofford website. We're going to add that link to that in the chat. That way you have access to that new student information. So that's being added to the chat right now. If you have any other questions, please feel free to continue adding those in so we can answer those for you.
Will students receive a confirmation if they successfully submitted the roommate selection process?
So they will be able to see, it on their portal, like this. So they'll see it there. And then once the roommate has selected, they'll see a green check mark. So I would say, make sure before June 28th, you just check that your roommate has confirmed. Gotcha. What is the dorm search policy? That's a great question. So we do have the ability to search a space. That is generally if there is, a significant cause to search a space. So it really depends on what kind of search you're asking about. Most of the time when we do inspections, health and safety inspections, that's a visual inspection of the space. We're not going into anything. We're not touching students' personal things. If there was a more significant concern that would cause a search authorization that is administered by our dean of students, then that's where a full search of the room is conducted, and that's all items, including rented or personal fridges. So when will they know their actual dorm assignment? So on the July 16th through 18th date, they will get to select their actual room that they will live in. If the student does not select a room, then we generally will assign them there after room selection closes, likely on the 19th, if they do not select a room. And so that will be visible in their housing portal, and they will have gone in and picked that room. So it'll show which room that they selected. And if not, we would assign them and they would get an email with their assignment.
These are all great questions.
Yeah. Is a microfridge allowed? Yes, it is.
What is a microfridge?
So we have a partnership with so it depends on what we're referring to. So a smaller fridge, but we also have a microfridge company that we partner with. But yes, a microfridge is generally where the microwave is attached to the fridge, and we do allow those. And if you are not wanting to carry it in and out every year, there's a company you can rent those from, and they will come deliver it for you to your room. Any other questions? These are great questions. All right, I'm not seeing any others. If you are still asking a question, please continue to include those. We'll hang out if you have a question. But if not, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your wonderful questions, and for being a part of this. If you missed anything or want to get any of this information, we will have this recorded and posted for you.
Yes, it should take, hopefully by next Monday, it will be up on the Wofford website for you able to view again, and be able to walk through step by step in case you weren't able to hear every step of the way. So we will post that soon. We hope to see you next Thursday, June 13th for an introduction to advising.
I'll answer one quick question. Are beds able to be raised up? You can adjust the height of the bed. That has multiple levels already. You also are allowed to have bed raisers. You just cannot have a full lofting kit. So those bed raisers are generally what you would expect from like Walmart, but they already raise up pretty high, just with the natural height options that are provided by the beds. Awesome. Well, if you have questions, you can also feel free to email us. We will put our Residence Live email in the chat. So any other additional questions that you think of later on, please do not hesitate to reach out and include that there.